Hello, my loves. We are going to try something new today. Hot mess history from Jet Magazine stories about everyday civilians, not celebrities or politicians or anyone of significant historical importance. And knowing what I know about Jet Magazine in the 1950s, there's no section that has more hot mess than the Mr. and Mrs. feature. So let's get into it. But first, if you like these videos about the most scandalous people from yesteryear that make the Hot Mess History with Ty Said What Ty Said channel a time capsule for the culture, subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can know every time that I upload one of these videos or every time that I live stream, and comment "I subscribed" in the comment section so that I can say hello to you. Now, on to why you are here. The stories for this video come from this issue of Jet Magazine, dated March 3rd, 1955. Now, I like to show you photos or videos that pertain to the subject that I'm discussing, but since these stories are not about celebrities, that might be a struggle in general. But I'll try to stick to the stories that have photos and do something to fill in the blanks on the screen when I don't have photos. Here's our first story, titled Sattler's Wife Seeks Separation, $500 Weekly. And it reads, only a few days before his first featherweight title defense in 3 years, champion Sandy Sattler's wife, Helen, filed suit for illegal separation on grounds of neglect, desertion, and mental cruelty. She is seeking $500 weekly alimony from his estimated $200,000 annual earnings and $10,000 for attorney fees. She charged the champ deserted her and their 2 small children, left her destitute, and even refused to pay the $115 monthly rent on their apartment. That is the end of that story, and boy oh boy, look at them in their happier days. Now, Jet never revisited this story, so I don't know what the outcome of their divorce was, but I looked to see if any newspapers at that time reported on the divorce finalization. None of them did, but what I did see in the Des Moines Register from February 25th, 1955, was that the champ was trying to keep his wife and children away from his next fight earnings, and the judge wasn't having it. Supreme Court Justice Henry Clay Greenberg said that the champ would have to prove why his wife wasn't entitled to a share of his earnings. Now, you know that I like to talk about the money in these stories, so let's break down the inflation figures. $115 for monthly apartment rent that he wasn't paying, $500 weekly alimony that she wanted, $10,000 for her attorney's fees that she requested, and $200,000 for his annual earnings. That $115 rent in 1955 is $1,206 in 2022. That sounds very reasonable. That's less than what I pay for rent, right? And that $500 in weekly alimony is $5,245 a week in this year. Sounds reasonable, right, ladies and gentlemen? Especially when I don't see a separate request for child support. That $10,000 for her attorney is $104,000 in this year. Hey, attorneys cost what they cost. And finally, the champ's $200,000 a year salary in 1955, which, let's face it, is already a lot more than many men earn today. Well, that translates to just over $2 million a year in today's money. Do you think that the champ could have afforded those payments that his wife wanted? Let me know in the comments. I think that he could have, especially after abandoning his family for however long. Next story, it's titled Mixed Couple Says New York Cops Persecuted Them. It reads, an interracial couple arrested nearly a half a dozen times on narcotics, prostitution, and vagrancy charges, accused New York police of trying to, quote, harass, humiliate, and persecute, unquote, them after a felony court judge freed them of prostitution and vagrancy charges. The couple, ex-dancer Carl Neal and his pretty Blonde wife, Elaine, 23. Quoted Assistant District Attorney Carol Hayes as saying, quote, "I'm going to get every nigger married to a white woman," end quote. Hayes promptly denied the statement. Mrs. Neal, an ex-model, testified that in the past 7 months, police tapped their telephone, shadowed them, and exerted so much pressure that they were forced to move from their $186 a month Riverside Drive apartment to Harlem's Teresa Hotel. That's that story. Quick note, they were not cleared of the narcotics charges. Just saying. This is a weird thing that Jet Magazine had a habit of doing in the 1950s. Almost any time that they would report on a white woman, they would call her, as you heard in this story, pretty and blonde or pretty and white, even if they weren't blonde or pretty. Anyway, congratulations to the couple for being exonerated on the prostitution and vagrancy charges, but y'all were still on those drugs. Now, our final hot mess story for this video. We don't have a photo, and oh, how I wish we did, because I would love to see this man. This story is called Ask Divorce from Record Keeping Hubby. It reads, in Detroit, Mrs. Jean Hastings filed suit to end her 4-month marriage to her husband, Matthew, because he kept a deficiency file on her. The housewife said the file included such things as her failure to buy bread on a certain day, her neglect to sweep the floor, and he once upbraided her because a roast failed to last for 5 days. That is the end of that story. Jean said that she couldn't take it after 4 long months. Now, I have 2 questions for you all. 1, which was the worst of her deficiencies? Failing to buy bread on the correct day, neglecting to sweep the floor, or failing to make the roast last for 5 days? I mean, what did her husband expect her to do about this roast, Keith Sweat? Make it last forever. Ah, that's right. Okay, thank you, Keith. Second question for you all. How long do you think that you could stay in a marriage in which your spouse kept a deficiency file on you? Please answer those questions in the comments section. Now, I'm really starting to wonder what the deal is with you men and your roasts, because I've already done a story about what Kingfish from Amos and Andy did to his wife over his dissatisfaction regarding a roast. You can see from the thumbnail how he handled the situation. You can also get the full story and see that video here. My sources for this video are Jet Magazine and Des Moines Register 1955 archive. If you want text notifications so that you can get a text 15 minutes before I release a video or 15 minutes before I live stream, simply send a text to 786-632-2135 to let me know that you want text, and you will get an outgoing text message 15 minutes before I have a new video release. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ty Said What Ty Said channel. Please leave a thumbs up and comment so that we can get a discussion going. And share this video on all of your social media, especially your Facebook. That really helps me out a lot. And subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can know when my next video is ready for you. And if you don't like what I'm saying but you love it, feel free to hit that applaud button just below your video screen there and send me some
donations.
Yeah, baby. See you on the next video.